we need to start off on with a legal question, but please also break it down for us in layman's terms. Kasi there's this big debate as to whether or not somebody who is being extradited should undergo a process first here in the Philippines, or can he already be taken out of the country and, for example, brought to The Hague?
Of course.
Okay, kasi ang alam natin at this point, di ba, may warrant of arrest,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, from the ICC. And then pinadaan sa Interpol. And then the Interpol, in turn, referred it to the Philippine government. That's very apparent from the fact na yung nag-arrest sa kanya ay yung PNP, and per news reports, accompanied by Interpol agents or Interpol officers. I'm just basing this from reports so
Yes,
far, no? So, proseso ay nasunod. Now, depende na rin yan if there are other intermediate steps na usually being undertaken by Interpol kapag meron ganyan na mga referral sa kanila for implementation. Kasi, the lawyers of Mr. Duterte, I'm sure, are thinking now of certain remedies.
Mm-hmm.
Kaya hindi maiiwasan na merong mga intermediate steps muna or developments. But then, ang malinaw talaga ay arestado na siya.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then, ang question is, would custody stay with the Philippines as the custodial state? Kasi kung ganon, so dapat ilagay na muna siya sa kung anumang dapat na facility para sa kanya.
Yes, ma'am.
While waiting for other developments,
Yes,
like for example, kasi kailangan magre-return ng warrant.
Opo. Opo.
Kasi yung pagre-return ng warrant, yes, go ahead.
Senator, sabi kasi nung kabilang kampo, kinakailangan ng warrant from a local court. Hindi sapat yung warrant ng ICC. Whether that is true or not, baka magiging moot and academic na yan kung siya ay nailipad na at nadala na sa The Hague. So maraming... ito ay hindi simpleng legal this or legal that, no? Tingin ko yung ginagawa ngayon is out of the box, no? Pwede lang maghugas kamay diyan yung gobyerno. Wala kami kinalaman diyan eh, no? Wala namang restraining order sa Supreme Court o any courts. So mamayang alas 5 lipad na siya. So,
Alas 5 talaga, ah?
Narinig ko lang sa
Pwede
isang
yun.
bubuit.
Kasi nga, although yun, well, yung is that may warrant of arrest from an international court. So it was served on him or inaresto siya in compliance with that warrant of arrest. And then may yung pwedeng mag-return ng warrant.
Yes, ma'am.
Pwedeng sa local court o pwede rin sa ICC na mismo sa The Hague. Pero it doesn't mean maghihintay pa ng warrant of arrest from a local court.
Yes, sir. Ma'am,
Kasi meron...
Ma'am, if I may, ma'am,
go ahead.
kasi given na po na may arrest warrant na ang ICC, that much is clear naman eh. I mean, we've also seen the warrant na rin eh. But my question po has to do with this eh. I understand po this is still extradition. Technically, it still is extradition even if it's ICC and Interpol. But we also have this extradition law, PD 1069, which also states that in cases of extradition, before you can fly somebody out, it has to be approved by a court, I think the RTC, and that can be appealed with the Court of Appeals. So that would sound like it's a more long drawn out process than some would like to believe na pwede siyang ilipad ASAP. Ano po, what really is the case here? I mean, you were Justice Secretary before.
Yeah. Okay, kasi, well, hindi talaga maiiwasan na this is considered also like an extradition case. Kasi yung mga other cases na dumadaan talaga sa Interpol ay ganon, yung talagang out and out na mga extradition. Now, this particular, this situation, ICC, iba ang jurisdiction yan, although may pagka, similar to extradition, is that this is of different, this of different kind. Na, yung iba yung special jurisdiction ng ICC. So, we cannot really categorically say na kailangan dumaan muna ng formal sa extradition process. Pwede rin, pwedeng hindi. Kasi nga, this is something, that's not really, the ICC did not ask for extradition. And I don't know what, we are not sure yet what Interpol asked exactly from the Philippine authorities. Although there are cases na this is na treated talaga as extradition. Kaya yun, mas malinaw yun na meron munang proseso dito sa local authorities and local courts natin.
Oo.
But this is ICC. So, really, I cannot really state any categorical position
Yes, ma'am. I
on
understand
that
po.
matter. Kasi ang tinitingnan ko lang, yung special jurisdiction ng ICC.
Yes, ma'am.
Kung yung tinatawag natin sa Senate as an impeachment court is sui generis, tuwing ICC, ganun din eh.
Yes, ma'am. I
This is the
understand
very
po.
first time that we are facing this.
Ma'am, if I may
Yes.
interject po kasi I'm reading now the Interpol website about the red notices. And the Interpol website says, a red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't know po. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but it sounds like extradition to me.
Well, if that is what is stated in the Interpol, then pwede rin ganon. Because that is the usual process that they do in case may mga requests for assistance or but I'm not very sure now about really what is the real procedure pag sa ICC. Ang alam ko, yung custodial state tayo eh. Tayo
correct.
yung may custody ngayon. So, mag-aano muna yan eh. Yung ang ano nga dyan is make a return to a local court. But it doesn't mean maghihintay pa ng another warrant.
Yeah.
Again, Senator Leila, Idol Leila,
Yes.
no? Bilang mga Pilipino, we can continue to split hairs over the legalities of this
Yes.
arrest. Pero ang sinasabi ko
Yes.
lang, this is out of the box. By 5 p.m., ililipad na siya papunta ng Den Haag. Balita ko lang, no? So magiging moot and academic na yung ating pinag-uusapan,
Yes.
no? Dahil
Yes,
yung
that's the
logical kasi
situation,
na
yes.
ginawa ni Digong yesterday ay manatili muna sa Hong Kong habang hinahanda ng kanyang mga supporters yung political climate para sa kanyang pagbabalik.
Correct.
Pero hindi niya ginawa
Correct.
yon, bumalik siya ng hindi handa at in-underestimate niya yung kanyang mga kalaban. Akala niya dadalhin siya sa krame na sinabi kanina, yung pala diversionary lang yun, pero
So, hindi naman
diniretso siya sa Villamor at mula sa Villamor ay ililipad na siya. John, pwede tayo magpustahan.
Okay.
Is that confirmed? Kasi kahapon sabi
Wala
mo...
namang confirm, hindi naman ako sa gobyerno eh.
No, because kahapon sabi mo hindi siya babalik. But he came back. He came back.
Dahil yun ang logical.
Oo.
Kaya tingnan mo ngayon yung kanyang kalagayan. Diba? Yun ang logical
clearly,
eh. Oo. Yun ang logical. Hintayin muna niya yung legal remedies na ihanda ng kanyang mga abogado bago siya bumalik at ihanda ng mga supporters
Correct.
yung political climate para siya ay maging isang hero na bababa sa tarmac. Eh hindi na ihanda.
Yun na nga. Kaya nga, yun ang naging nila, taktika. Kaya lang mukhang
Excuse me.
masasabi natin na mas preparado ata yung gobyerno. Kasi may ganun na silang action plan kung ganyan talaga mangyayari.
But Senator, I am seeing some posts and comments from Duterte allies na sinasabi na this is making him a hero. This is gonna backfire. I get what Ronald is saying here, pero ano po sa tingin nyo yung sa defense nila? They're saying that this is an illegal arrest kasi walang warrant and also because the ICC does not have jurisdiction. Pwede pa po yan i-challenge sa korte, right?
Well, they can always take any remedy na maisip nila. But ang ano nga is that ICC ito. May warrant of arrest. At then na-serve na. And then pwede talagang yung pag-surrender, that's also part of the process sa ICC. And then yung tungkol sa walang jurisdiction, malinaw naman yon sa Article 127 ng Rome Statute. Na kahit nag-withdraw na tayo, ay hindi pa rin tayo libre, yung gobyerno, hindi yung Estado, hindi siya absolved or excused from cooperating. And dun sa matter na yan, and that should include concerning also the arrest, the enforcement of the arrest and the surrender.
Actually, kagabi pa lang, marami lang tumatawag sa kanya na wag munang bumalik dahil hindi pa nga sila handa.
Yun pala.
Una, siyempre, hubris. Tingin mo, invincible ka, walang untouchable ka. Ikalawa, yung kulambo.
Ano yung kulambo?
Dalawang gabi na kasi siya hindi makatulog dahil wala yung kulambo. No? Ang hirap nun, ha?
I don't
Para
know.
sa edad niya.
Hindi naman kailangan ng kulambo doon.
Hindi, kaya
In Hong Kong.
naghahanap siya ng kulambo. No? Yun, hindi mo alam kung gaano ka kanya, ka-importante.
I don't know if we should be laughing at this point.
Pag ikaw ay 80 anyos, hahanapin mo yung iyong yung security blanket. No?
Ano security blanket niya, kulambo?
Kulambo. Ako, security blanket ko, yung staff slot.
Oh.
Na kahit lumang-luma na, hindi ko papalitan ng bago dahil gusto ko yung amoy ko ron No? Ganun din sa kulambo.
Senator, what does it feel like for you to see all of this play out? You know, how many years ago yun? 7, 8 years ago when we were covering your breaking news of your arrest, right? Tapos ngayon, you're on the other side. What does it feel like for you?
It's just part of I actually see it as part of my vindication. Kasi alam niyo naman kung ano yung pinaglaban ko at kaya nga ako kinulong ng halos 7 taon. Dahil pinaglaban ko yan. Yung pagpatay nila is under the bloody war on drugs. So, ito ay something na hinihintay na ho ng karamihan sa atin. Hinihintay na ito lalo na ng mga biktima, lalo na ng mga pamilya, ng mga EJK victims. So, this is a very it's a very significant and remarkable day, and I just feel so vindicated. Na finally, gumugulong na yung hustisya. At yun naman talaga, ang pag-asa naman talaga ng mga biktima o yung mga EJK families ay yung ICC. Gumalaw yung ICC, ginawa yung trabaho, ginawa yung mandato, eto na yon. So, yung ang talagang susunod ay yung pag-surrender sa kanya sa ICC sa The Hague para umandar na rin yung proseso doon sa ICC, sa trial chamber.
Ma'am, I was reading kanina the arrest warrant against the former president. Among the things cited in the arrest warrant, they found reasonable evidence to believe now that Duterte was the founder and the head of the Davao Death Squad, which you also investigated before in Davao City when you were Commissioner on Human Rights Chair. And that he appointed DDS co-perpetrators is the word used by the ICC. DDS co-perpetrators to national positions when he became the president. So yun po among other things ang basis nila. As well, he offered financial incentives, promotions to policemen to kill suspects, promised them immunity, shield from investigation, made public statements authorizing and condoning and promoting the killings. So ito po yung mga basehan.
Ed, wag na natin kalimutan, kaninang 1:30 at ngayong 3:00, may misa sa Payatas at saka sa isa pang simbahan with the victims, with the families of the EJK victims. Huwag natin kalimutan, hindi lang ito dynamics between the Marcoses and the Dutertes. Ito ay primarily ay dynamic between the victims ng EJK, ng Tokhang at si Digong. Kaya yun ang gusto nila maging prominent, huwag silang kalimutan. No? Kaya kanina nga 1:30, ngayon ongoing 3:00, may misa with the families of the EJK victims. Hindi lang sa Payatas. At bukas, meron silang ongoing yung second mass. Meron silang tomorrow na planong press conference at saka mobilization. Ang ihaharap dyan are basically the families.
Okay. Madam Senator, we're bringing in Ami Pamintuan, the Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Ami, from Parañaque.
Hi, Senator. Hi, Senator. Senator, meron na daw na-file na petition for certiorari sa Supreme Court. Ano pwedeng maging role dyan ng Supreme Court kung sakasakali?
Magkita-kita mo sila.
Well, depende kung ano ang allegations nila. Ano ba ang iaano nila dyan? Iko-question nila dyan. Sasabihin nila, grave abuse of discretion yung ICC. In the first place, yung Supreme Court, walang jurisdiction yan over the ICC. So it really depends on what the allegations are. in that petition for certiorari. Maybe
Pero can they stop, can they stop our
certiorari.
government from handing over Duterte to the Interpol?
Again, pardon, I can't, medyo choppy, Ami.
Can they stop our government from handing over Duterte to the Interpol? Kasi si Senator Bato de la Rosa, sabi niya, yun din ang sabi niya, pag siya na-issuean ng arrest warrant, pupunta din siya sa Supreme Court para itigil.
Well, they can always file whatever course of action ang pwede nilang maisip, based on the lawyer's advice. But yung mga whether anong magiging action talaga ng Supreme Court, it's anybody's guess actually, kasi it's the first time that we are being confronted with this breakthrough development. So iba rin, siyempre ang Supreme Court magiging maingat din yan. Because we're not talking here about ordinary cases, we're not talking here about local courts. We are talking here about an international independent court. So, magiging maingat para sa akin ay magiging maingat ang Supreme Court pagdating sa action nila on petitions like that.
Mhm. Ma'am, in layman's terms, anong certiorari? Ano yung sabihin nun? It's a petition questioning the authority?
Yes. Ang scope ng certiorari is grave abuse of discretion or lack or excess of jurisdiction of a tribunal body na exercising quasi-judicial functions.
Okay, so
Now,
that's why.
that normally applies sa mga local institutions of justice, local court. So, not ICC.
Hindi
So,
nga yung
we have yet to see
titigil,
exactly
Senator.
yung
Yung mga
allegations.
natin, our law enforcement
Yung mga-
agencies
the law enforcement
from arresting
agencies
and
are-
handing over.
From arresting.
Pero
Pwede,
Ami,
yun,
again,
I think that is
ang
the,
window is just
1
1.5
hour.
hours. No? Kung hindi nila magagawa yan in 1.5 hours, o halimbawa, matraffic yung magdadala, kung sakaling may makuha sila at matraffic papuntang Villamor, palipad na yung aeroplano.
Ano yun, chartered or commercial flight?
Ha? Basta
Senator, may
Using
tapos
the
na kasi
busway.
challenge yung
Using the
arrest
busway
warrant,
na
di ba?
Basta palipad na ng
busway.
Ang ini-invoke ngayon is a diffusion mechanism.
Yes.
Baka pwede niyong i-explain yun, no? Yung diffusion
Palipad na ng
mechanism
5 p.m.
na ginamit ng ICC through the Interpol.
Yeah, what does that mean, ma'am?
again, what is that? You're coming in
It's a fusion mechanism.
Diffusion.
Pina-explain ko, pero baka mas medyo mahaba-haba to explanation sa akin eh. Pero baka ma-explain nyo ng mas madali. Maya-maya sasabihin ko, nandito sa akin explanation. Pero baka meron kayo simpler explanation.
Well, actually, that's the first time I've ever heard of that. But if we relate it to the developments now, yung mga nangyayari ngayon, ay siguro talagang maski yung, of course, the confidentiality. Diba? Haka-haka lang o reported, issuance lang yung warrant of arrest, but there was no official announcement yet from the ICC as of March 7th, the date of the warrant of arrest. At ganun din, naging confidential din, at hindi talaga pinaalam, hindi pinapublish, hindi in-announce yung pag-refer sa Interpol.
Actually, yun nga yung definition dito sa akin ng diffusion. A diffusion request from the ICC is an informal alert sent through Interpol to request the location or the arrest of a suspect na wanted daw ng ICC. It functions daw similarly to an Interpol red notice, but it is typically used when there is an emergency or while awaiting a formal red notice. The ICC daw may issue a diffusion request to facilitate international cooperation in apprehending persons accused of serious crimes. Halimbawa, war crimes na or crimes against humanity, but unlike a red notice, a diffusion is sent directly to specific countries rather than being publicly available. So hindi pala yung nabalitaan yung ganon nung nasa department, talagang bagong-bago siya, no? Yung mechanism na to.
Kaya nga, diffusion eh. Para, because, they anticipate really serious things. They anticipate mga sensitive developments o kaya yung the defiance and all that o pwede rin mga mass actions. Kasi nga we're dealing here with a former head of state. So, yan ang pagkakaintindi talaga natin ng diffusion mechanism. Although, as I said, ngayon ko lang yan narinig. Pero yan ang naiisip natin, yan ang naiisip ko na ibig sabihin talaga ng diffusion. Precisely to diffuse a very volatile situation.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll let you go,
Salamat
Senator.
po.
We know that you have something to attend to as well. Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, ma'am.
Former Senator Leila de Lima.
Thank you,
Salamat din po.
Senator.
Salamat din. Thank you.